Alright, we're going to talk about receiver modifications. Now, as you all know, compared to the single shot, we have this extension added to the receiver, and we have the different safety mechanism here. We'll cover that later. So I'm going to take the Troop Special, because just for speed, and try to I'm going to disassemble this. So we'll take off the barrel band just like on the other one. Now on the other guns, okay, the single shot, this should cam out. If you notice, this is not coming loose, okay? Where on the single shot, that should just come out with a hook. So they've changed something in the receiver and how this whole thing locks into the gun. So I believe what I have to do here, if we look, there's another point. This, I think we just leave this alone. We take this bolt out, and yes, see where we used to be able to leave this all in the stock and then we just hook out. Now this is attached to this piece here. So to get the action out of the stock, we are going to have to remove the two screws, okay? Because the receiver's been modified, it's no longer that little hook deal. So I'm going to get these screws out and get back with you. Okay, I have the screws loosened. This one's coming out. This one is sheet metal. It's got it under pressure, but I should be able just to lift, this stock off. Oh. And there's your magazine, just kind of floats in there. Okay. So what we have here now, what's different is they've changed that little rear piece. If you remember in our other one, this was real thin, this here, and this could stay in there. And there's your point where your barrel used to hook into this. Well, now they've gone and placed a pin in here to lock this other receiver extension in. And that's, there's the problemo. And there we go. There we have our, that's the difference. It's locked in with a pin. Now, let's look at this thing. This thing don't look too healthy. Safety check time. I had one where that pin was missing, and this receiver will float inside the stock. This pin is kind of critical. This one looks pretty crappy in there. Well, it binds. That's all it has to do. But that's something there. So there's a modification there. As you can tell, our safety looks different. This is the one that comes over, and then the bolt handle will drop into that U, and that's the Vetterli safety. But other than that, I think the trigger mechanism stayed the same. And also, we can see here quite clearly that's where that little area cams the bolt handle. Cams on this. Let me get it, we'll take a better look. Okay, remember I mentioned that little space there? Well, that's part of the receiver extension where that comes down and cams. Okay, that's what this does. That mates up with that cutout in the bolt handle. So there you can get a better look at it. Alright, also on a receiver, the ejection port was widened drastically. You know, there's a good amount taken out there. And we had to add these two little fingers, which that's part, like when I was showing you how the magazine cutoff works, that's what keeps your cartridges locked in. It's spring loaded. And that's how that's done there with this. And as you see, they come out here. And there's one on each side. And then here is your magazine cutoff. Get this back in there. And that also retains your wedge. And this has a small screw which keeps it in place where the sliding cover had the ring that locked into the stock. So that is your receiver differences. Okay. And the way that would be, this extension wouldn't be there, and the older one would just lock in the stock about here. So you see it's just a modification. Now let me see if there's anything else in the stock we can look at. Okay, the trigger group, once I got the screw out, this thing just slid out from underneath there. So now we have our trigger mechanism, and this is unchanged. This is the same as the other. The only difference is we'll get it into where it's how it goes in. The only difference is this different type of latch. So all they really did was change the latch on the safety, and add that in with the new receiver section. But it functions in the same fashion, with the exception of, instead of rebounding back into the off position, your bolt handle rests on here and keeps the firing pin off of the primer with a round in the battery. And we'll take a look. 1891. All right, now this rifle also, it's gonna give me a hard time, has a set of numbers, which these are assembly numbers. These serial numbers do not match. Make sure I ain't lying to you. No, they don't. They're not what's on the Knox form flat. So these would be assembly numbers. And the only thing we got here, I think we got a Z, a mark, a seal of some sort. And that's about it for barrel markings on the underside. That's about it. We have our date. Okay, might as well cover this. Oh, we got the date there. Manufacturer. PP for the interchangeable parts. Our serial number. And then here, there is a faint little stamp, seal, or crest. Okay, so that's about it. And that gives you a look of the 87 receiver modifications. Now we're going to go on to the magazine.